Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. In today's video we're going to pick up where we left off when we looked at a couple of excellent camp cook sets from the company Stanley. So part of their adventure series here, the Camp Pro Cook Set and the Basecamp Cook Set, both of which definitely have some pros and some cons depending on exactly what you're gonna do. So in today's video, we're gonna get outside. I have a full day of backyard cooking. I have made some fantastic food, absolutely wonderful day using all of this to my advantage. And to be honest, I really couldn't have done what I did with just one kit. I really kind of needed both. So these definitely went hand in hand and were instrumental in my ability to pull this off. Now, as I filmed, I really intended on doing a narration throughout, but after reviewing the initial footage, I decided I'm gonna go a little bit more ASMR. And the only problem with the ASMR style, well, you're gonna have to deal with some of the sounds because I am in an urban residential area. So you get to deal with the neighbor's annoying dog, the guy that wouldn't stop vacuuming, the people doing their yard work, and well, all the other crazy sounds that you contend with in this particular scenario. And so if you want to skip that footage, take a look at the timestamp below. You can skip all of the cooking footage and come back with me to the studio where I'm going to look at all of this gear. Now that I've used it, I have some impressions. What worked, what didn't work, what would I change, how did they hold up? And well, with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Stanley who did provide these products for a review. I don't think there's any bones. I did my best to pick through everything, so just beware. Do you want another little piece of chicken?
No.
No? Good? Yep. Little spinach? Little flavor bite?
Holy shit, it's hot. Needs to cool down.
Yeah. Nice.
All I can taste is pain.
Whew, it is hot. Takes a little while to do this stuff, but it's worth experimenting. It actually looks legit.
Looks really good.
All I taste is pain.
It's so hot. Broccoli's good.
That's what gets wicked hot. Broccoli is like one of the hottest vegetables when it's like saturated.
Yeah, because it's saturated with steam and heat in all the pockets. That would be a bitch to carry into the wilderness.
This is a big job.
Yeah.
This would be like if you're out there all day. This is pull the polk sled. Bring all the stuff to go, like make a meal out in the middle of the wilderness in the snow. It'd be cool. I mean, think about doing this like deep. It'd be awesome. You'd feel so good.
It would be so good.
Wouldn't it?
With raisin. I'm impressed.
Not bad. I'm happy with it.
I'm impressed.
Thanks, man.
It's good.
For backyard cooking. And so, well guys, there you have it. Some extensive field use using these camp cook sets at length. Stanley products, there is no doubt, are absolutely fantastic. So what I want to do now is show you all of this gear. Now that I've cleaned it up, I've actually used all this stuff at length. You saw it being used. I've gone through it and done a basic cleanup. I mean, nothing substantial. I used some soap and water, cleaned everything real nice. Maybe I didn't use, steel wool or anything to really scrub them. Just a basic sponge with a little scrubbing pad, and then I put this stuff in the dishwasher. So you can see kind of after all this hard use out over the fire, really baking on and just firing on some of these different food particles. How did these hold up? So let's take a look at this stuff in detail. And so now as we go through all of this in detail, on this side, this is the Camp Pro Cook Set, and on this side, we have the Basecamp Cook Set. Now, all of this I did use in some capacity for the most part. Some of it got direct heat, some of it was used just to sort of, use as like little pots as I was preparing my vegetables and sort of stashing things from time to time. But for the most part, almost all of this was used, with some exceptions, but we'll get into that. Now the Camp Pro Cook Set, you can see I used this frying pan at length. This was used to cook up my bacon. This definitely cleaned up very easy. No burned bacon, no problem. It definitely did a nice job. It was actually pretty nice where I was able to apply just up front some olive oil, and I can still feel it has just a nice smooth feel on the inside. So this cleaned up very nicely. On the bottom, held up very well, no problem at all. Everything working very well. You'll see even some of the soot has really come off. There might still be a little bit here, you can see here as I sort of wear on the side here. That could potentially come off if I spent a little time. But overall, very nice. And for a quick cleanup, I'd say these came out pretty nice overall. Here's the lid to the main pot. So here, this is the main pot that I really did a huge amount of cooking in. I used this for my entire soup. So the stock pot here got some heavy duty use. You can see some food stuck in the bottom. Again, if I put some time into this or use something to really scrub it, I could definitely get this completely clean. But again, I just wanted to show a basic cleanup and really how well this can clean up after just, again, little soap and water, just using a sponge, a little bit of a sort of Brillo pad, and then just throwing these again in the dishwasher. So overall, very good. Again, no damage due to the heat. These were definitely getting licked by the flames pretty hard, and that fire was definitely hot. Again, not too much in the way of staining on this lid either. And then this pot here, I did not use for a ton. I basically used this just to transfer some items and sort of store food while I was cutting it and preparing it. So this one's still very clean. The serving spoon and spatula definitely got some good use. These worked very well. They were nice and sturdy, no problem at all. And the snap-in handles definitely worked just fine, so no problem. And they were reasonably sturdy, so these worked out very nice. And the cutting board I used extensively. This has a ton of use at this point. You can see a little bit of staining, some cuts from place to place. Now, my impression of this, it definitely worked, but it doesn't sit very flat due to the folds. At this point, it actually is sitting decent, but that's because I've left it out for a while now. It's been a couple of days, and plus it ran through the dishwasher flat, so that kind of helped to flatten it out. Now, I was able to prepare my food, fold this, and nicely pour it into the different containers or the different pans, and that worked out pretty nice. So it was nice and controlled. But the one thing is you need to be a little bit careful where you cut because of this slit. So you don't want to run your knife down this way. You could damage your table or the surface beneath, or even dull out your knife if you're not careful. But overall, this was definitely effective and it held up very well. Now these trivets I did not use. You'll notice I opted to use my gloves. That fire was way too hot and I really couldn't chance burning myself, so these were not necessarily needed. Taking a look at the Basecamp kit, again, these were used extensively. So this pot here, definitely used. I used this actually for a couple of different things, and most notably, I popped up some popcorn. So this worked out very well. And actually, I did also transfer some, at different times, different stock items, and I stored some of the heated food, and as I prepared my soup, I used this in different ways, and you'll notice some staining on the outside. This side definitely took direct heat straight off the fire. The flames were licking this pretty hard. This side, not so much. So you can see the difference between taking heavy heat and here, again, not so much. And same on the bottom, you'll notice the heavily sort of heated side here, getting a little bit of color. This side, again, not so much. Could I completely clean this up? Sure, if I took my time and really polished this up, I mean, even just rubbing it here, you can see that is taking off a little of that tarnish. But generally speaking, cleaning up very well, and this pot definitely performed. This frying here used to fry up some zucchini, so some oil and some zucchini. You can see this is almost like caramelized here. It's probably really like the sugars from the vegetables just kind of stuck here. Again, just a quick cleanup, a little soap and water, sponge and Brillo pad, nothing significant. Now when you look real close, you can see some of the swirl marks from where that Brillo kind of was working on here. If you start really getting at it with different abrasives, that will definitely take off some of the smooth finish. It'll kind of sand it off a little bit on the inside, and you're starting to make your own swirls. I have mixed feelings about that. I feel like all of these pots and pans have a nice oil when they first come. Just sort of the metal itself has just that little bit of an oil, and you can feel the difference between the pans that didn't need a lot of scrubbing and now the ones that did. Over time, this surface will definitely degrade, but it's stainless steel, it's cooking ware. Who cares? Just use it and enjoy it. This is the lid from the popcorn. No damage here. This held up mighty fine. No problem at all. Now this cutting board here, you can see again some extensive use, some heavy cuts in it, but it held up well. No significant damage or anything that's going to be detrimental to this lasting. So this performing well, cleaning up easily, and a nice little surface. It is a little undersized, but for what you're getting in this kit and something that all nests together, it's definitely suitable. I did not use this stand. This is a drying rack. I didn't need it. I used my drying rack in my kitchen. Now I used all of the sporks. These worked very well. This is what we use to actually eat. So we use these to eat our soup. And we leveraged the bowls, which were nice. A good size, deep enough, no problem. Cleaned up, very easy. Dishwasher safe. And they definitely withstood all the heat that we put at them. So no problem at all. These were great. And last but not least, I didn't really use the plates. I did just for some real basic things with a couple of these, just to put some items on real quick. And actually, if anything else, just used them to help keep the rest of my work surface clean. So they definitely came into play, but I didn't really need them too much with what I was eating. But for the most part, these worked out just fine. And where I was using the serving set, really from the Camp Pro Cook Set, I did not use these utensils. So these weren't used. I can't speak to them too much. I kind of wish I did because I'm curious about the strength of this connection and that little sort of buckle there. But overall, I would say that these are probably fine for the lighter duty tasks, but where I was going heavy duty cooking, I definitely wanted to leverage the Camp Pro Cook Set versus the Basecamp utensils. But all in all, some beautiful cookware, absolutely fantastic, performing extremely well, cleaning up nice, and this I can say in a comprehensive kit, looking at it all together, definitely performed. Each one of these components doing its job, doing it well, but together this was fantastic. And so all in all, these Stanley Camp Cook Sets, absolutely fantastic. I have greatly enjoyed these. And again, thank you very much to the people at Stanley. There's no doubt that these products are high quality. They are a great addition to your camping lineup. Not so much for backpacking, but car camping, a good base camp kit, and in my case, some quality backyard cooking. And so if you like this content, do me a favor, take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is a little more on the firearms and also the tactical side of things. But if you like this content and you're looking for a little more of that sort of tactical side, do me a favor and check out Outer Limitless 2. So alright guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.